My journey of painting is a story of restoration. Each painting I have completed captures a very real and sometimes very raw and vulnerable moment from my past. But they also speak of my creativity, of my growth, and also finding my true passion in life. So I would love you to join me on this painting journey of discovery in this series and teach you what painting has taught me. And also, maybe you too can find your creative pathway like I have, one painting at a time. I know a lot of people are hesitant to learn how to paint with oil paints. I know I was totally not. That's for people who know what they're doing. But this particular series and this video that you're going to watch will actually help you see the journey, where the journey began for me and how it can actually begin for you somewhere. I found this little box I wanted to show you. This was a box of all sorts of creative cards and things that my mum kept, and I thought I'd keep it too. And I'll show you one of the things I found in this box. And this was this cute little picture here that I did when I was probably 10 years old. I wasn't a fantastic drawer, but I loved doing it. So all through my life, I've really enjoyed drawing, and I dabbled in acrylic paints, yes, but when I got to, into my 20s and was married and started to have children, we got involved in an organisation which I actually really loved, but it pushed us pretty hard and I ended up burning out. Now, the work that we did was amazing. It was very creative based in terms of working in communities and traveling overseas and helping communities learn about how they can use creativity in their communities, like developing programs, festivals and fun stuff like face painting and learning how to spin plates and do some fun creative things in their community just to help the communities enjoy being together. It was a really big part of what I used to do. But I spent a lot of time on the computer as well. I did a lot of media, a lot of promotion, a lot of video editing, which is why I love YouTube now still. But I really spent way too much time on the computer and burned out big time where I could hardly walk at a certain point, and I had to go right back to the basics, just leave the computer, and I would stand because my back was so bad, degenerative discs in my back, and I would stand and do some drawing, and I started painting. And you'll see here, there's a little picture here of someone actually recorded this. I can't believe one of my friends recorded this. He must have known that this was the first painting I had actually done in about 25 years. I picked up a brush and I really loved it, and I remembered how much I loved doing this when I was a lot younger. And this was just poster paint, from a kid's schoolroom basically, that was where I was near doing a retreat. Actually, this was on a retreat that I was meant to be running, but I was really unwell, so I just did some painting, and then I ended up grabbing another bigger painting, a bigger canvas and painting on the canvas. And one of my kids at the time, who was about 14 or 13, he came out and said, "Mum, I didn't even know you could paint." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I haven't done anything really great creatively for many years." And that's where the bug began. It was acrylic at that point. I didn't have any thought about actually going into oils at that point. In a few episodes time, I'll tell you more about how I got into oils. But what did I learn from this particular part of the journey, and what can you learn through this as well? I think just beginning. Don't wait like I did until I burned out and I, just thought, well, the only thing I can do is paint or draw. If you have that little, bug in your heart, bug's the right word, but that desire in your heart that was, from way back you loved to draw, or even you hadn't drawn much, but you always wish you could draw like someone else, then I really encourage you to just begin that journey. I have a free download document below called Dreams, Following Your Dreams, and you'll be able to really help you. It will really help you move forward and sort of discover what that is that you really want to do with your creativity. So have a look at that if you like. There's a link below. But more on this particular painting. It's actually called Blessings. And so the other side of the story of this is I wasn't feeling well, obviously, so I was pretty flat and depressed. You know, I had young kids who, really needed me, and I felt like I wasn't giving what I could because my body wasn't working so well, and there were other health issues happening in the broader family as well that I felt responsible for. So it was a really tough journey, and I felt super flat. And I remember being with some of my friends who are quite creative themselves, dancers and painters and all sorts. And one of them said to me, I really feel like there's a word for you. I've got a word for you for this year. And I'm like, oh, that sounds a bit interesting. And I went, sure. And she said, the word is blessings. And I went, okay, well, blessings sounds a little bit waffly and a bit strange, but sure, I'll accept that. I need some blessings in my life. So I ended up calling this painting Blessings. Because I'd also heard that it is really helpful when you visualize things, when you draw things, when you write things down, that you're hoping for the future, that they will come about. And I was hoping for things to be better because I was unwell. There was a lot going on in my life that wasn't going so well financially and health and relationship and all sorts of things like that. And I just went, I want some blessings in my life. And you might have picked up, yes, I have quite a bent towards spirituality, and I really believe that there is something bigger than us that is guiding us on our way. And I really believe that there was this voice saying there's going to be some blessings. So I just went, I'm going to lean into this. I'm going to call this painting Blessings. And you know what happened? The friend that was actually videoing this particular video of me painting my first painting, again, he must have known somehow, him and his wife actually ended up buying my first painting, which is this one. And I remember driving in the car with them and them saying to me, I'm an artist. Say after us, I'm an artist. I'm like, no, I'm not an artist. I just did this painting and I'm not really an artist. And they're like, say after me. I can remember the actual place I was driving on the road. I could go and tell you right now where it was. And I said, I am an artist. And they went, yes. And we want to buy your first painting. You're going to be famous one day and you're going to sell paintings for lots of money one day. And they bought my first painting for $600. So today I could probably sell it for a lot more. But anyway, that was that one. The weird thing is with that painting is I painted it on this really crappy old canvas and I didn't care. I didn't think anyone would ever see any of my work because I was just doing it because I got the bug. I got that joy back in me that I remember having when I was little, when I, just sort of lock myself away in my room and enjoy sitting there drawing and painting. And that's all I cared about was the feeling I had when I started to paint. And I don't know about you, but do you get those feelings when you start being creative about something or leaning into something that you can see it come alive? And when you create something that you are enjoying, it really gives you a beautiful, beautiful feeling. And I was hooked. I was totally hooked. So this first painting was a really, really huge pivotal moment in my life and opened up a door. I had been on the computer, I'd been working way too hard, and it opened up this door to creativity that I totally had shut, completely shut. Yes, I do creative stuff with my kids and make things with kids and cook with my children, but nothing that was for me. And this just totally opened my mind up to a whole new world. When it comes to the practical things that I learnt about painting with this first piece was to not worry about materials, not worry about the quality of materials even. If you just want to get out and just paint something and all you've got is a black and white or all you've got is red, I don't know, just start something. Just grab what you have like I did. I just grabbed, it was really old paints and I had like an ice cream container lid for my palette and I don't know where I found the brush, but it totally started me on that journey. So I really encourage you to just, try something. That's what I learned with that. We've just got to try. We've just got to begin. One of the other things with my first painting here was I didn't use grids. I just had a couple of photos that I got printed out and just began. I looked at sort of the texture in the leaf on the photo and just tried to duplicate that when I did it up bigger, and just sort of came up with a bit of a formula how to get that pattern, I suppose, in the veins. I suppose from this very early stage, I really wanted to do the detail, and I love the detail. So I did take a lot of observation, I suppose is the word, of what I was painting, which was a lot of fun. And what was great about this is it wasn't a face, it wasn't, a landscape. It wasn't something that I had to get perfectly right. Like the water drops could be different shapes and the leaf could be a different shape. So it was a pretty cool way to begin. I was shocked that my friends would buy a painting for $600 from me. Even that felt extremely expensive for me and extravagant that they would do that. But I was really grateful for that. And lean into those beautiful friends around you that encourage you and remind you that you are creative. I think that's one of the biggest things that I learned from this particular painting and beginning was that we really need the people around us to encourage us and cheer us on. So find those people and move away from the people that don't encourage you in that area as well. So I don't know where you're at, whether you are going through some health challenges, whether you don't feel like you could even create anything and you haven't got your mojo. Hey, this is where it all began for me. I was actually painting while I was actually in pain and not feeling well. My hope for this series that it is encouraging you, that you will be inspired to lean into your creativity, lean into some of the themes that you enjoy. And as you follow on, I'm going to share with you all the things I've learned, the things I've done wrong, the things that I am really grateful for, and the things that I would never do again also. These creative journeys take us to places that we never thought we would go, and I particularly cannot believe now that one of my biggest paintings is sold for, well, I had $12,000 on it. Ridiculous. Like I never, ever thought from this moment when I started doing this first painting that I would get to this point. It's possible for you. It totally is, to take your creativity somewhere, and it might not be, and it's not for me necessarily to make money from it, but to bring the joy that you need to experience, because creativity is life-changing. So until next time, I hope you can join me again. Next time we're going to have some fun sharing what my second painting was. I think we're going to go through over 30 of my paintings, and every one of them I've learnt different techniques, I've learnt different life skills, I've learnt so much, and things that you can learn through this as well. So come with me on this exciting journey. I'm sharing with you so much insight into painting and all of the things that I have learnt, and I hope you can also discover your own creative journey one painting at a time. Oh, and don't forget, there is a free download link below if you want to discover more about your own creative dreams. It's based on ways that I have actually helped me on my own journey. So you can go and have a look. Until next time, bye.